Alright guys, so this video is going to help you with your solving unknown angles assignment for day 1. Alright, these are a few examples. You should be familiar with all the angle relationships from last week, but if not, I'm going to be going over it here anyways. Alright, so let's get started. So for number 1, if you look at it, we have a straight line, and we are trying to solve for x. We have two angles here. The fact that we have a straight line, this is what you need to know. The fact that we have a straight line, all the angles that are correlated with that straight line add up to 180. All right, they're supplementary. All right, so these two angles should add up to 180. So if you were to do an equation, it would be 49 plus x. So 49 plus x. Those two should add up to 180. Okay, simple enough. All right, so to solve for x, you just subtract the 49, and x ends up being 131 degrees. All right, and you need to know that because of that straight line. Some of you are not going to be able to see that, all right? So that's pretty straightforward. If you go to number 2 here, it looks a little bit more complicated, but it's still the same rule. If you look at this, there's a straight line right here, which means all of these angles, doesn't matter how many there are, they add up to 180. So that means 30 plus 41 plus x plus 53, these four should add up to 180 degrees. So your equation would be 30 plus 41 plus x plus 53 equals 180. And just use your calculator. You do 30 plus 41 plus 53, so it'll be 124 plus x equals 180, and then subtract the 124 to the other side. So x is going to be 180 minus 124, 56 degrees. So this is 56 degrees. All right, so these two are the same rule, okay? They're supplementary, so they all add up to 180. If you go to number 3, it's a little different, okay? There's a few different ways you can go about this. Looking at this, let's say we want to solve for x first. This 62 and this x are what's known as vertical angles. Again, we did this last week. So 62 and x, these should be the same since they're vertical angles. So right off the bat, you know x is going to be 62 degrees. Done. No equation needed for that. All right, but when it comes to the y and the z, it's a little different. Now you actually have to do what you did before. So for example, y, with this 62, if you look at it, again, you have a straight line. So these two angles, these two, should add up to 180 because they are the two angles with this straight line. So if you wanted to find y, it'd be y plus 62 equals 180. Subtract the 62 to the other side. Y ends up being 118 degrees. Okay, so if you know y, z is actually pretty easy because these are also vertical angles, y and z. So if y is 118 degrees, z should also be 118 degrees. All right, so far so good, right? We have supplementary angles add up to 180, and then we have vertical angles that are equal to each other. The last example we are going to try is this one. We are going to solve for x. It looks a little bit more complicated, but the same rule applies. These two angles, this one and this one, they're across from each other and they're created by the same two lines. These are vertical angles. They are the same, which means they should equal each other. So 12x plus 4, this should equal 112. All right, these are equal to each other. Now you solve for x. Subtract the 4. You have 12x left over here. And if you subtract that, that's 108. Divide out the 12. X ends up being 9. All right, so we solve for x. just be careful. This one, you're done, but some problems actually ask for the angle, okay? So if it did ask you for this angle, you would just have to plug in the 9 for x over here. So it would be 12 times 9 plus 4, but it should be the same thing. It should be 112 degrees. All right, these are 4 examples. It should help you with the day 1 assignments. I'll post another one for day 2.